Steven, what's going on? I'm super excited to welcome you in. You are the founder of Puff Count, an app that's helped over 800,000 people quit vaping. I have this really strong hatred for vaping because you never know where those things come from. 90% of them come from China. You don't know what the heck they're putting in them. So many people are using them. We have an epidemic of vaping, and you are responsible for over 800,000 people potentially reducing their vaping or even quitting completely. So you're a very important person in my heart right now. I absolutely despise vaping, and you built an app that helps people quit vaping. So yeah, Steven, would love to introduce you to our audience. As you know, Ambitious Labs is a place where we teach people how to build apps, and I think you're an awesome person to introduce. So go ahead, tell the world who you are and yeah, what the app is that you built.
Thank you so much. And it's an honor to be here with you. I'm a big fan of the channel and I love what you're doing. So yeah, I'm Steven. And as you mentioned, I built Puff Count, just over 800,000 downloads, and it is an app that helps people quit vaping. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because people really don't know where these vapes come from, right? Like I got addicted to vaping in college, and so did all of my friends when Juul went crazy viral. So I knew it would be a big problem, and I decided to build an app that would help people quit, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. So you came up with this idea while you were in college?
Yeah, I was in college. I got addicted to vaping. My friends did. And, I asked one of my buddies, I was like, bro, do you know how many times you hit that vape every day? And he was like, I have no idea. So that was kind of what sparked the initial idea. And that's what Puff Count is. It tells you exactly how many times you hit your vape every single day. And it also conveniently helps you quit. There's quit plans. So you can, tell it when you want to quit. I want to quit 30 days from now. And it will kind of guide you through the process of reducing your usage. You can add your friends as quit buddies. Yeah, we have a lot of dope features in there that can help you, manage your overall vaping habit.
So is it safe to say that like you built this app out of a problem that you had? Like, were you a user of this app?
Yeah, I was, right? Like, this is how I quit. Like all the science tells you to reduce your usage. Like if you're going to get off cigarettes or get off vaping, what doctors will tell you to do is use a patch and slowly reduce the amount of nicotine that you're intaking until it's easier to quit, right? Because the side effects from quitting and the kind of how you feel when you do just stop vaping cold turkey, it's tough. Like you need the vape again, right? So reducing your usage over time makes quitting so much easier.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you built an app to help people reduce, not necessarily quit. Or how did you approach like the product development? Were you always thinking about like reduction at first, or were you thinking about full on quitting? How did you approach that? Because yeah, like it's a really big mission to have, right? To get somebody to quit like a chemical addiction.
Yeah.
How were you approaching it as a startup founder?
It's an interesting question because I definitely approach it from the mindset of like, all right, I'm going to help everyone quit vaping. But in doing marketing, and we can talk about marketing later, in doing my marketing, when I kind of presented the product as that, I was like, hey, you should quit vaping. People don't really respond well to that, right? It's hard to get someone to quit an addictive habit. And, people don't want to be told what to do. So as I started marketing Puff Count, I came to realize that promoting it as this kind of habit discovery tool where you can understand your usage and then kind of realize that you do have a problem and maybe you should reduce it was the best kind of way of approaching it. So that's kind of what I call it now. It's a habit discovery product that also has the tools to help you quit when you're ready.
Oh, interesting. And did that kind of breakthrough come like naturally? Did like your users tell you that? Like how'd you land on that breakthrough? And the reason I ask is oftentimes we find our entrepreneurs inside of Ambitious Labs, like they struggle to talk to their users and they don't really understand like how people are using their app, why they're using their app. They're too obsessed with like why they built the app in the first place, they being the founder. Like they're obsessed with like their emotional attachment to it. So I'm curious, like, did you find that breakthrough out by talking to your users, or was that something that you just like had conviction over?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, every decision I make in the app is based on data and based on what my users are doing, right? So from the onboarding to the marketing to everything, like I'm always asking my users. But how I came to find, promoting Puff Count as like a habit discovery tool was through marketing. Every time my call to action was quit vaping with this product, it performed worse than me saying, hey, find out how much you vape with this product. So it was like the marketing, like that converted to downloads much better for me. So the marketing really told me kind of how people were perceiving the product.
Interesting.
And again, I think it's a great segue into like wanting to quit because they download the app, they track their puffs, they see how much they're smoking every single day, and they're like, wow, okay, I do have a problem. I need to quit. And conveniently, they have the quit plan, they have the quit buddies in there, so they have the tools to do so.
Super interesting. So I have your onboarding pulled up here. Can you see it?
Yep.
Cool. Onboarding is like the most important part of every app, right? 65% of trial starts and subscriptions happen like during the onboarding process. And so designing a robust onboarding is almost impossible the first time. I'm just curious, like how many different onboardings have you gone through to land on this one that you currently have today?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like before, I didn't really have an onboarding. I had like, here are the 3 features and here's the paywall. And that worked like decently. But I did a lot of market research into other apps that were crushing it in the health space. And they all have these extensive onboardings where they kind of give more information about the user and they walk the user through their problem. Right. So like, that's exactly what I do with PuffCount. So I actually went on Upwork and I hired a behavioral scientist to help me build out this survey that will help you kind of understand your problem, customize PuffCount a little bit for you. And at the end of the day, it walks the user through their problem and primes them to be ready to use the product when they do hit the paywall.
Interesting. So you hired someone on Upwork to do that. We should talk about that in a minute because I know on your channel too, you talk about how you cost effectively build apps and SaaS products using Upwork. Yeah. Our mission is to get people to build it themselves using tools. But I do think there's a lot of merit in using Upwork the right way. It's just a matter of like, you need to be in control. Like, so if it sounds like what I'm hearing is you built the app, you controlled like the whole, like the skeleton of the app. Maybe you did hire a developer, but you overall controlled the app and you just hired people out to do like one-off tasks that you needed. Is that how you approach outsourcing?
Exactly. Like I'm a big proponent of, number one, being a founder. And the most important thing of being a founder, in my opinion, is building a strong team around you and hiring people that are good at what you're not good at, right? Like outsource the things that you're not good at. So as a developer, I'm not the best, right? I have a go-to developer. I have a go-to designer. And, I had this behavioral scientist who helped me build out this quit survey. I'm really good at marketing. And again, we talk about the marketing later, but I handle the entire marketing aspect of PuffCount. And again, I'm the founder. Yeah, I have the whole vision and I just bring on the best team members that I can find to help me, realize that vision. And I move much faster that way in working with great people. And they bring new ideas to the table that I didn't even consider, right? So I think having a solid team around you is crucial.
But do you consider yourself a solopreneur or do you consider yourself like a team builder?
A team builder.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, right? Like PuffCount, I own 100% like outright, like it's mine.
Okay.
But without my team and my developer and my designer, shout out Yuri and Zach, like PuffCount would be nowhere without them. Right. So like I take good care of my team. But without them, like it would be nowhere near where it's at today.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Giving up some, trust is a huge thing. And yeah, just trusting people to get the job done. We'll talk about hiring too. But yeah, let me go through this custom quitting plan because I agree. Like walking a user through their problems, I think that's what you said, like showing the user what problems they have. I call it the self-selling onboarding, where you are literally strategically asking questions that get the user to tell themselves that they have a problem so that you can offer them a paywall and offer them a trial so that they can see the value that your app provides.
Yeah, exactly.
So I see the first step here is like, what is your goal?
Yeah, exactly. And each one of these questions we actually took them from proven scientific studies. There have been a lot of studies around like e-cigarette usage, nicotine usage, and we took each one of these questions from one of those studies so that in the future, if we do want to use this user data and run a scientific study, this data is valid because they're based off valid, scientifically proved questions. You can see here we're asking about the side effects. And it's also like great information to collect to build new features in the app and to improve the marketing of the app itself, right? Like if we know who you are and why you're downloading the app and what side effects you're feeling and kind of who you are more as a user, it helps me both in the development and marketing of PuffCount.
100%, man. And are you tracking the onboarding completion rate? Like, do you have a Mixpanel flow or an amplitude flow where you're tracking like how many people actually finish this?
Every single screen in this app is A/B tested. So yes, with the onboarding flow, it's all A/B tested. We mix up the question order sometimes, right? To increase the overall completion rate. We want people to finish the whole survey.
For sure. Like I tell all the builders, like, hey, now that you've launched your app, it's now a math equation. It's no longer like, well, it is also kind of this emotional product as well, but
Right.
it's 60% a math equation at this point. If you've cracked like, you know, solution problem fit, I'm not going to say product market fit, but like solution problem fit, it becomes a math equation to test different variations of marketing, of onboarding, of messaging, of, positioning to find what then becomes, I think, product market fit a lot later. You also say here your average yearly spend on vaping is $1,800. So like you do this really cool price anchor, and I heard my phone vibrate. I felt it vibrate. So that's also like it's not necessarily a dopamine trigger, but it's like, oh shit, like that is how much I spend. And it's like priming me to like anchor a price at like $1,800.
Exactly.
Based on your answers, there's strong indication that you're addicted to vaping. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. This is scary. What brand and model of vape do you use? Interesting. Juul?
Nice.
I imagine here's going to be a paywall.
You guessed it.
Aha, got you. Track how much you smoke your Juul. Wow, you got that personalization in there too.
Yes, sir.
Puff Count Pro, the average user saves $80 a month with our personalized quitting plan. You got the testimonial. Very clean. So you said something about A/B testing. Do you mind sharing what stack you use to build this app? Is this Swift, Flutter, React Native?
Yeah, so it's built on Swift.
Okay.
And then my tech stack, I kind of use a bunch of different tools. For the app itself, we use Revenue Cat, we use Superwall, we use AppsFlyer as our MMP. What else do we use? We use Mixpanel and Amplitude actually.
Okay.
To test out different things. I don't pay for either one of those. Like their free trials are pretty solid. And you can kind of get the data that you need. What else am I missing here? Facebook ads, TikTok ads.
What's your backend? Is it Firebase by chance?
Firebase.
Oh, nice. So you use Firebase. So you literally use every tool that we teach except for the front end, which you said was Swift. But
Yep.
That's awesome. Use Superwall to A/B test the paywalls, Revenue Cat to process the payments. I bet you're well over the $1 million mark, so you probably are paying 30% at this point, right?
I'm not. I'm at 500K ARR.
Oh, because it's 1 million annually. It resets.
Correct.
Ah, cool. Yeah, you're flying low. That's good, man. It's
Yeah.
almost like way better to stay in that range than it is to try to like scale even higher. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like for those who don't know and maybe are watching, if you're over $1 million per year in revenue on the App Store, they'll actually charge you a 30% tax. Apple will. Right now, I qualify for the small developer program because I make less than $1 million a year with my mobile app, so I'm only charged 15%.
Right.
And I've seen companies do all sorts of crazy things to avoid that 30% tax when they do hit the million revenue mark. Like a lot of it is taking payments through Stripe on a web onboarding instead. But I've heard mixed reviews, right? Like I've talked to some developer friends who are well past that threshold. And at the end of the day, paying on your iPhone for an app is so much easier because you just double click your lock button and you scan your face and then you paid. Whereas if I'm on the web and I'm paying through Stripe, I have to enter my card details. I have to do all this stuff. So it's almost like, I'd say it's almost even, right? Like from what I've heard from bigger developer friends, I'm sure there's pros and cons to like both, but I don't know. I'm not there yet personally, so I can't speak to it too much, but it's interesting what people do.
No, for sure. And this is cool. So it's very simple. Like you land on this page and every time I hit my vape, I'll just tap on Puff and just
Correct.
keep track of it. That's like the main feature.
Yep. And then you can tap on the big circular icon there, tap to configure.
Right.
And then you can set your daily puff limit. You can set the strength of nicotine that's in your device. So for example, Juuls are typically like 5% nicotine.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then you can say that it'll tell you how much nicotine you've been taking throughout the day. You set your limit. Yours is at 20 right now. And then you can go to your quit plan and you can start building a quit plan. So you can tell it, hey, I want to quit a month from now or 90 days from now, 7 days from now. And it'll ask you how much you smoke daily. And then you have your quit plan there. So if you, and this will basically guide you through reducing your usage. So as long as the amount of puffs you're taking stays below that red line, like for example, your day one's is 50 for you. And then day two would be, 45. day 3 would be 40, right? And you slowly reduce your usage over time until you get to your goal at how many days did you choose there?
60 days.
Yeah. So at 60 days, you're at 0 puffs. So you're slowly reducing your usage over time until you're at 0 puffs, and then quitting is easier.
Wow. That's really cool. Auto tracking. How does that work? Oh, are you building a new feature?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Got
So it
you.
just takes you to an external survey, and we collect some data.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man. This is awesome. Very sticky. Like I like to teach, like, fat finger friendly design. Like when you're building an app, like you don't want to overcomplicate things. You want it to be to the point where if I fat finger a button, like I should still be able to click on it. And it should be very simple, like what I need to do next. I see way too many builders who try to build apps like make really small buttons, add a bunch of information on one page, make the page scroll. But like the best apps that are in the market have very easy to use UIs. Did you design the UI yourself, or did you hire it out?
I did. So what I did was, when I had the initial idea for Puff Count, I sketched out what I thought the app should look like. And it was very similar to this, right? And then I took that sketch and I uploaded it to 99 designs. On 99 designs, you can start a design contest. So I had 60, 70, I don't know, maybe 80 designers all submit their idea of what the Puff Count UI should look like. And the one I chose is the one you're looking at. Of course, we made changes along the way. We updated the UI, and like I have a designer full time now. So, we made changes, but that's how I got the initial UI done.
Sick. Very cool. Nice, man. Well, the app looks really solid. Congrats on that. Really cool to see that you use a very robust stack that like now you can do without coding. I guess like that's a quick question I have for you. Did you know that using no code tools, you can build essentially a very similar app? I would say that yours is higher performing because it's Swift on the front end, but like, are you aware that you can use no code tools to build an app similar to this?
100%. I have a new project that I'm working on. We're using Flutterflow to build it.
Oh, nice. That's crazy. I didn't even know that prior to this call. Very cool. Is that a web app or a mobile app?
So it's both. It's actually both. It's going to be a B2B SaaS on the website, and then on the mobile side, there's a mobile app. It's a marketplace. It's a complicated product. But I think it's going to be huge, and we're using Flutterflow to build it. It's so much quicker to build in Flutterflow. You can get an MVP out there, and it's a lot cheaper too.
Are you doing it yourself, or is your dev team also helping out?
I have a dev team.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, well, nothing wrong with that. Like you understand the advantages of it. Let's talk a bit about marketing. So like,
sure.
For some of the audience who may not be aware of like why mobile marketing is really hard right now. So Apple, I believe, when was it, 2019, did the IDFA deprecation where they took down like the unique identifier that keeps track of like your browsing history across like apps. So essentially what that means is if you tap on a Facebook ad to download an app, the app developer, like Steven or myself, we don't know that you came from a certain Facebook ad. So we actually can't attribute our spend correctly and spend more on the ads that are performing well. So right now it's kind of a black box. You tap an ad, you go into Apple's black box, and then you may or may not come out the other end with a purchase or not. So that's a very hard thing to scale. Now, Steven, did you get hit by that, and were you impacted by the IDFA?
Yeah, 100%. Well, it only really became a problem for me in the last like 6 months. Like,
oh, really?
I think at the beginning of this year or December of last year was when I started to run paid ads for my app. So that was when it became a problem. Previously to that, I was only doing TikTok organic. I was posting, organically on my phone, just myself making TikTok videos. But yeah, when we started running paid ads, of course, we ran into that problem. We use AppsFlyer as an MMP, and they kind of use like this advanced technology, prediction technology, to kind of guess where these are coming from with pretty decent accuracy, right? And Apple will give you some idea of where it's coming from. They put a time limit on it. I think it's like 3 days or like 7 days is like the amount of time you have to access that data. So we use AppsFlyer, and we have a pretty good idea of where the paid installs are coming from now. We advertise on TikTok and Facebook.
Sweet. Yeah, so I actually did a tutorial on AppsFlyer and Flutterflow. It was like one of the first tutorials I did, and a lot of people didn't understand like why you'd use AppsFlyer, but now they are. So pretty cool to see that. Dude, it's come through.
It's brutal. It's complicated, and the AppsFlyer is expensive, man. They pay you per app install. So
yeah,
I think, right? Like per app install.
You can do per app install at PrizePicks. We had so many downloads that we did like an annual contract with them. But
But
But yeah,
they ask for a ton of money, and I think for like a small team or solo founder, like dude, it's a lot of bread.
for sure. Um, but if you're spending that type of money, like the thing that we learned at PrizePicks was like, if you're spending, you know, a few $100,000 a month, say
It makes sense.
500K a month, 1% of that is massive, right?
100%.
So that's, I think, AppsFire's like price to value kind of a proposition. It's like, hey, if we can help you save a few percentage points of your ad spend, that's going to amount to a lot of money. And the unfortunate truth is that apps are low margin businesses. They're high volume, low margin businesses. You can get LTVs to be extremely high. We'll talk about that. But generally speaking, apps are low margin. So you got to pump volume and you got to spend a lot. But you, I think, aren't probably spending as much as an average app developer. I think you've cracked the code. Talk to me about the code that you've cracked.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, you're right. In the first kind of beginning phases of PuffCount, I was relying only on organic TikTok videos, right? Like making them on my phone myself, and that's zero cost. It only costs my time. And it worked pretty well for me. I have a TikTok account with 120,000 followers, 50 million plus views. And the organic grind, it was good. It taught me a lot about, marketing in general and especially like social media. But it came to a point where, as a founder, I have other things that I want to work on. I don't want to sit in my apartment and make TikToks all day anymore. So I had to look at other options. And one of those other options was paid ads. So what I did was just take my best performing organic TikTok content and put them on paid ads. When you do that, it's super easy. Like you don't need a super advanced ad team to manage that for you. If a piece of content has performed well organically on TikTok, you can put it on paid ads and it will do well for you, because how it does organically is a good indication of how it performs as a creative in general. So you can assume that it's going to perform well on paid ads.
Very interesting. So did you do paid ads first or did you do organic first?
Organic first.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you went organic first. I have your TikTok account pulled up. Yeah, you do have 123K followers, but like some of your videos have millions of views, like 8.3 million, 1.4 million. Like, did you just have the link in your bio and people were downloading the app directly from here? Like, what was the funnel like?
Yeah, interesting question. So actually, I looked into this and only like 20 to 30% of the people actually went to my profile and clicked the link in bio. What you'll see, if you click on that 8.3 million view video, you'll see that I always, in every single one of my TikToks, have a call to action. It's very quick. Like, let's see, you'll see it in this video, but this is a video that I made in like a minute. I took apart a vape, showed people what was inside, and then conveniently right here at the end.
Oh, sick.
Boom, call to action. And it being that quick at the end, people would be like, bro, why didn't you show it for longer? Why didn't you talk about the features? Yada, yada, yada. If you do that in a TikTok, it's going to look like an ad. And people are smart. They don't want to watch an ad on TikTok. So this is entertainment with the CTA at the end.
Wow.
And the CTA is super quick. So people have to watch the video again if they want to know what the app is.
Yeah.
So that increases my engagement on the TikTok side of things. People start asking in the comments, what app is this? Boom, my engagement goes up on this video. And also, you'll notice that in the CTA, I didn't even mention the name of the app.
No, you didn't.
I just said this app helps you quit.
It's just the curiosity, right? That people are like, whoa, like, what is that? Let me go look at it.
But
man, like, how certain were you that this TikTok was going to take off, right? Like, that's, you're always taking risks. And I'm sure you're feeling like self-doubt in the moment of like, damn, is this video even going to be worth it?
I did market research. I knew this video was going to blow up because I did market research. I saw another TikTok of someone showing what was inside a vape, and it had like 12 million views. So I was like, dude, I can do this and present it and package it in this way that promotes my product. So that's exactly what I did. I knew this video was going to blow up.
And you knew it was just going to blow up. Like you went all in on this and you were like, this is going to blow up. I'm going to put all my energy into this one video for how many ever hours it took. You knew it was going to blow up.
It took me 15 minutes maybe to make this video.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it's not, rocket science when you get really good at it. But like this is a year and a half of me into making content. I was really good at this stage at making content, right? Like I knew how to put the video together. I had my finger on the pulse of what content was doing well on TikTok. So it was easy for me. But if you go back to like the early days of my account, bro, it's brutal. Like my early videos are really bad. Like, dude, this one doesn't even have anything to do with puff count. This is during, but like, bro, like these early videos are just trash.
Yeah, but like you got 2,700 here.
Yeah, dude, this one's funny.
That's funny.
You know what I mean? But everything is an evolution.
Yeah, but then I mean, you got 2,700 here, and then boom, you took you hit a second base for 35K,
Yeah.
and then you kind of keep going. You know, you had a 73K right here. This is probably your best, like, this is probably like a breakthrough one for you, where you're like, damn, I could probably make this even better.
It was.
Um,
This was a breakthrough for me because I realized if I dropped vapes in water, people would freak out and the video would get views. So you'll see like the next couple posts probably after that are all me just dropping vapes in water. Yeah. So
yeah, I noticed it. That's why I kind of called that out. Okay, so you've pretty much broken down TikTok into a science. Like, you understand how people react on TikTok,
exactly.
um, and you've broken it down. Like, you're pretty much saying, if I drop a vape in water, it's gonna get views. And pretty much every time you do that, you've hit.
They crushed. It crushed. And that's what you'll come to find as a creator, right? Like that one had 3.5 million views where I saw, if I have my friends drop vapes in water, it becomes even more of a thing, right? People send it to their friends. But once you find that format that works for you, you can do it over and over and over again. If you look at the most popular creators on TikTok, they are doing the same format of video every single time. Like
Yeah,
look at any account with millions of followers, they're doing the same style of content every single time, over and over again, and it works. And that's what TikTok is. You find that format
dude,
that works and you lean into it.
that's amazing. So you've cracked the code on getting a bunch of views. You're driving traffic to your profile. At this point, you're probably getting some installs, or
Right.
not some installs. You're probably getting a significant number of installs. And what's going through your head, like, as you're watching your analytics, as you're looking at people complete onboarding, like, what's going through your head at this point?
This works. You know what I mean? Like this works, and just working on improving the product and making it better day after day. Right? Like apps are like fashion; they're never done. There's always something new to do. There's always a new analytics tool to add. There's always ways to switch up the onboarding, increase the conversion rate, whatever it may be. Make the product better. Respond to that bad review, like whatever it is. Right? Like there's always new stuff to be done.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's try to line up this app figures chart with kind of your TikTok account, right? Like, so you were saying,
Oh, you got to go
being,
way back. Go back to like 2020 on app figures.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I stopped posting TikToks a while ago.
Go back to 2020. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So what was this all about? This big spike right here.
That was the 8 point whatever million view video.
Really? That was like your first one, and you pulled in probably a few $1,000s. Probably not accurate,
It
but
went it went crazy, bro. It went crazy.
damn, that is amazing. And then you kind of, what were you doing here? Just working on the product, kind of silent? What happened here? Why'd you take a little break?
The kind of like everything you see beyond like the consistent spikes at the end of the chart there is me just doing organic TikTok. Those can And then when you see it spike towards the end, like those consistent big spikes up, that's all paid ads.
Oh, I see, I see, I see.
So it became more consistent to me, right? Like one thing about TikTok is it's amazing, but like it's not consistent. You're always chasing that next viral video, and those viral videos don't stay around for long. TikTok is a short
Mm,
form content platform, right? So like it doesn't have like the longevity of like a YouTube video or paid ads that I can run consistently, right? So it was a very inconsistent business back then. It became
I
consistent when I
see.
started to run ads.
Got you, got you, got you. But would you recommend like organic TikTok for anyone who just launched their app? They're looking to get cheap traffic. They don't have huge bankrolls, VC money. Would you
One
recommend organic TikTok?
100%. The only reason I'm successful on paid ads and you see that consistent growth towards the end is because I had organic TikTok content. I just took my
Mm,
best performing TikTok content and put it on paid ads. That's it. So without
okay.
without these couple of years of me making organic content and understanding the format, my paid ads would not work. Like
Mm,
paid ads are hard to crack, man, especially for mobile apps. And it really comes down to the quality of your creative. And I had 2 years of high quality creatives because I was doing it organically and they were getting millions of views organically. So it was
for
just
sure.
plug and play.
And were you full time, just focused on puff count?
No, so out of college, I built Puff Count in college, but it wasn't really generating much revenue for me. It was like a couple $1,000 a month, whatever. You can't live on that, especially in California where I was living at the time.
Yeah.
So I had a 9 to 5. I worked in an affiliate marketing agency for a long time, and then one of my other apps blew up, and that kind of like changed my life. So I was able to quit my 9 to 5. I started an agency, which I worked out for a couple years, and now I'm just full time on apps again.
Okay, you had another app blow up. What was that app?
It was called Wordle.
Oh, Wordle, right. I actually did do some research and I saw that you were part of that as well. You want to say a quick TLDR about that story? There's actually a full video on your profile. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description to your YouTube channel where I know you talk about the whole story, but would love just a quick TLDR on that.
Yeah, bro, that was crazy. Crazy blessing. Like, definitely was not supposed to happen, and it happened to me. It was just like, I built a mobile app when I was in high school. I had built apps before PuffCount, right? Quick little
Okay.
games. I had one called Grid. It was a puzzle game, and then I had another word game that I called Wordle. And I built that in 2016. It did all right, but I just threw it away. Like, it was just sitting in my App Store account, like getting 1 to 2 downloads a day. And then the summer or the Christmas of what was it, like 2021, 2020? When was this, dude? I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting what year it was. I looked at my App Store Connect dashboard and I see that Wordle has been downloaded like 300,000 times. And I was like, dude, what is this? Like, this has to be
What?
This has to be fake. This is an app that I built like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So I Google Wordle, and then a New York Times article pops up and it says Wordle is a love story. I'm like, there's no way they're talking about my mobile application that I built.
What?
There's absolutely no way, right? Come to find out that another developer, Josh Wardle, builds a browser game that everyone knows called Wordle, right? So everyone's going to the browser to use that. But when people see that on social media, they're not going to the internet. They're not going to their computer. They're going to the App Store and typing in Wordle. So they type in the Wordle in the App Store, and mine shows up. So people started downloading mine, like hundreds of thousands of downloads every single day, organically, like crazy.
Yeah.
So I DM Josh on Twitter. I find his Twitter. I'm like, hey man, this isn't supposed to be happening. Let's find a way. I'm generating some revenue from this. Let's find a way to, come together and like donate this to charity. So I donated an amount of money to a charity called Boost Oakland, and bro, it was a crazy 6 months of my life. Like, that app.
That is insane. Was the app the same? Like, was the game the same or was it a different game?
No, it was a different game.
Okay.
It was similar. It was similar. You were creating, words out of however many letters.
Absolutely wild, man. Absolutely wild. And I'm sure you kind of felt like if that wasn't meant to happen, did that have anything to do with your decision to donate to charity? Like,
yeah, well, I made the decision early on before it really be like, that was when I figured out what was happening. I DM'd Josh. That was only the beginning of it. For the next 6 months, the app became like, Wordle was the most Googled word that year. Like, it became global. And now, like, anywhere I go, if I mention that game, like, people are like, oh my God, I know exactly what that is. So I don't know, man. It was crazy. Like I said, a blessing. And I think at the end of the day, it gave me a platform to like encourage other entrepreneurs to like bet on themselves. You never know what's going to happen. Like, take a bet and, build something cool. Like, just have fun, right? Like, I built that game in high school in my bedroom, when I was 16.
Dang. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Take that leap of faith.
100%.
That's all I can really think about. But man, like, wild. So I guess like at this point, all I really want to understand is you've built apps, you built multiple apps, and apps are not easy to build. They take a long time. You got to build a lot of features. You got to stay focused on like that one feature set. You don't want to build like 10 different features at the same time. You want to build that one feature set that a user can actually flow through, get value from, and then go back into that core app loop. And, if you can build an app that consistently can solve a problem, get users to come back, convert like crazy, then you have a successful business. But man, like, what's it like going through that process of building a product? Like, did you ever feel self-doubt? Did you ever feel like, yo, this isn't supposed to work? Or like, how'd you keep yourself moving forward? Talk to me about like the mental health part of all this.
All the time, bro. I think being a founder is like one of the hardest things ever. Like, even now, building this new project, even though I've been successful with mobile apps in the past, like, there's still doubt, and I'm still like, you're always scared. But I think like that's part of like being an entrepreneur, and like that's part of the game. Like, it's Mark Cuban has this quote. It's like, it's the toughest sport in the world, right? Because someone's always trying to kick your ass. So that's what I think it is. But you just got to keep pushing through and like don't give up. Like, PuffCount was dead. You saw the chart. It was dead for 3 years. Like, I was making a couple grand a month, right? But then only towards the end, when I really, locked it in and started scaling paid ads, is now making a significant amount of money. Wordle sat there for 5 years, blew up on the 6th year. You know what I mean? Like, crazy stuff will happen, but you can't give up on your ideas too early. And, just kind of always iterate and make decisions based on data, and, lean into your skill set. Throughout that time, like, I've built crazy skill sets, from building a team to marketing to putting these apps together to running paid ads, and those skills stack on top of each other. So even if your project isn't successful, like many of mine have been, I have more apps that we shouldn't even talk about because they're just trash, right? Like, you build these skill sets, and you become a better founder through the journey. So that's what it's about.
So you have two successful apps. How many apps have you built in total, do you think?
I had this one app that I built when I was in high school. It was called Rush Up. It was a trash kit. Like, dude, we shouldn't even talk about it. Maybe downloaded like 1,000 times, right? Like, just,
oh wow.
And then I built Grid, which is the puzzle game. I consider that a success. Like, that was I actually had my first like 10K month as an entrepreneur doing that mobile app. And we showed ads. It was a game. So like it did pretty well. And then Wordle. And then Puff Count was in college. So I think, they got better and better as, I progressed. And now I'm building a new app. It's called Posted. So I think that one's going to be huge.
Yeah. Talk to me about Posted. What are you building next?
Yeah. So Posted is, like we mentioned, there's a website of it and there's an app side of it. So it's a two-way marketplace that's connecting brands and creators. And essentially what brands can do is they can put up a sum of money for a content contest. Creators can use the app to submit content to the contest, and the contest run for a week or 2 weeks. And by the end of that 1 week or 2 weeks, whoever has the most views gets to split the prize pool. So it's a way for founders to find content market fit much faster.
Got you. So it sounds like it's the perfect solution for anyone who wants to blow up on organic and do exactly what you just did, but do it in a streamlined way without having to go through, maybe learn how to do TikTok themselves, crack the viral code like you did. Instead, they can go straight to people who already know how to do it and just blow up their brand.
100%. Right. And, you're speeding up your learning curve a little bit, because I think, like, at the end of the day, like, of course you need to know how to scale content on your own, in your own team and stuff. But like, we're just speeding up your learning curve with the contest format. Like, you understand what content works well for your brand a lot quicker.
Yeah. And you said that's how you found your UI designer, right? Or that's how you found the final UI direction for Puff Count, was through a contest. So now you're replicating that for organic.
Exactly.
No, sick. So it's proven in one vertical. And you're going to bring it to a new vertical. And that's like the best way to build businesses, right? Like, too many times I hear founders say like, oh, my app has no competition. There's nobody doing anything like this. Okay, well, that's kind of a problem. Either the founder's not thinking about it the right way, or there's actually a reason that no one's doing it that way.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, right? Like, I think it is important that, there's other people in your space that are making money and doing the same thing. It all comes down to market research.
Absolutely. But everyone has a unique value proposition at the end of the day. And it's like, that's where Blue Ocean strategy comes in. That's where you continue to further, build features, add benefits, and target a certain group of people that makes the competition irrelevant. Like, I'm sure there are other like cigarette smoking, like cigarette quitting apps or cigarette quitting, products out there. But like, yours is so different because, it's technology, it's vapes, you have a crazy organic brand.
Right.
There's so much that differentiates you. So, yeah, it's just really all about continuing to differentiate yourself. So I like that. Yeah, I have a feeling that Posted will be a really good fit for, entrepreneurs on my channel who have products that they're launching, and more people on my in my audience are launching than ever before, which is why I thought it was a really good time to talk to you. So I'll definitely leave a link to Posted. I know you're in beta right now.
You're the man.
But I'll leave a link to Posted in case any entrepreneur just, launched their product. Is this only for apps? Can you use Posted for any other business too?
No, we're focusing on digital products right now. Any e-com, it's a little bit of a nightmare, like shipping products to these people, right? Like, we don't want to get anywhere near that. So yeah, just digital products at the moment.
Well, it's good you're staying focused, right? Like
100%.
I'm sure you could always go into these markets, but you understand that, hey, I want to stay focused to digital products. That's a big enough market for me.
Absolutely.
Nice, man. I guess just to wrap things up, is there anything else that, you feel that app developers should know that you wish you did a few years ago?
I don't know. Like, if you what guides me is like, I have these ideas, they're all written on my phone, right? I have like a list of, I think every entrepreneur does, like, a business ideas, right? But there's always that one idea that will keep you up at night, right? You cannot stop thinking about it. And if you have that feeling and you just have like this gut feeling that this idea is going to be huge, like, go after it and just pursue it. And again, don't give up on the idea too easily. My projects, as you saw throughout the interview, like, they took a long time to like find that fit. right? So, don't give up too easily and just be passionate about it and enjoy the process. Like, cause again, you're stacking skills, you're learning things every time. Every L is a lesson. So just go for it.
Ooh, clean. Steven, thanks so much, man. This was a lot of fun. You dropped a ton of valuable nuggets. Really, really appreciate you. One last thing I want to mention is that Steven is actually rooted in Atlanta. And too many times I tell people I'm in Atlanta. It's the Silicon Valley of the South. We have some amazing entrepreneurs out here, such awesome talent. It's not just Steven, but there are so many entrepreneurs in Atlanta who are absolutely crushing it. A lot of app founders too. I think the founder of Reframe is here in town, which is an app to help people quit drinking. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I need to meet.
Yeah, Reframe CEOs is here in town. He's actually based out of, I think they were in ATDC, the Georgia Tech incubator. So
Nice.
really excited about what's going on in Atlanta, and I hope to get to meet you someday in person, Steven.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I'm definitely coming back home soon. I'll be in Atlanta soon. I've been doing a bit of traveling, but I'll be back, bro. And we definitely gonna link up. Thank you so much for having me, bro. I love what you're doing on the channel, educating people. And yeah, if you haven't given this man a sub yet, go do it.
Thanks, Steven. Take care, man.